Hello everybody, the iLord Root here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Prison Architect. So I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and begin working on this new cell block. Probably against my better judgment, but it is important that we have this available to us for good reasons. We basically want this still here, and we'll just pause real quick. But we want to go ahead and at least get the foundation laid here because the it's going to cost us about 15 grand to lay everything down. But it's going to be well worth it. We'll more than double our prisoner capacity rather. And in doing so, we will bring in lots of money. Speaking of which, we have room for another shipment of prisoners. And so we'll bring in one more low priority deal here. And we'll just let those guys get to it. Now we're at 10 grand. Is that enough for us to do what we want to? Well, that's a good question. This doesn't include all of the lighting here, of course. I think we do have a large gel door which we can place here, and which we will lock. And that will get us started on that. But in the interim, we want to do something different here. I mean, we've got this huge, massive shipment of stuff, and we want to make some amount of money. We're going to spend at least 3 grand here between the dogs and the armory. And that will require us to basically keep on going here. And this will allow us to have a little bit finer control over our prison population. These armed guards are posted in sensitive areas and are programmed to shoot on sight, which is going to be a good thing for us. Now you'll notice that we are going to have this one deal going on here. We're going to have a staff room here where we're going to manage the power for this wing of the prison, which we may end up expanding in the future. But we will go ahead at the moment and we'll wait for some new guys to come in probably. I'll put it on a double speed so that we do catch some of these guys in the act. You'll notice that we are beginning to lose a little bit of our population because people are being released. Benjamin Harvey, for instance, is being released. And we've got an intake of 12 prisoners coming, which may be a little bit more than we're used to, but that's what that holding cell is for. Now, when these guys are asleep, the hope is that they will automatically be reallocated to their appropriate prison cells. And the hope is as well that since these guys up here are going to have a little bit bigger of a yard, that there's going to be less of an issue there. You can see we're making a lot of money at the moment, although we may have had an incident. and that would not be good. We've got several ways to go here in terms of our um, of expanding, because of course we have a lot of things we're going to want to do. This entire area here is going to be set as maybe as a yard. Or that would probably be for the best if we set this up as a yard. And I do want to eventually get these guys moved out of here so we can set up our infirmary elsewhere. So why don't we do that, in fact? We have lights just about everywhere. And we can begin working on maybe another power supply at some point. But we'll get ourselves this extra yard going. I think the best thing for us to do right now is to get these concrete walls taken care of. Or to at least we're working on our armory right now. I'm going to set this up here, however, as a special room for us. This is going to be where we house our canine unit. And so we can, if you look up here, we can build ourselves a kennel. And that kennel requires two dog handlers at 150 bucks per dog. They come with the dog, of course, which is nice. But we can basically put these guys to work here. If we put the dog crate up here at least. And then once our armory is complete, and that may take a little bit of a while for us because we're a little strapped for cash at the moment, then we will find that these guys here are going to be set up in such a way that you know, what was I going to say? They'll be set up in a way that will allow us to easily mess around with this. We might want to take out a loan, which we can easily do. But then again, if we're going to get this grant going, we just might as well let our prison run its course. And that will allow us to wait through the night on this. If we happen to need a loan to fulfill that grant, then that'll be fine by me. You can see we're barely breaking even. It might be time for us to fire one of these guards that is no longer needed. As much as I hate firing people, it's... Whoa. Well, what's happened here? It's kinda strange. As much as I hate firing people, it may be necessary at this point. I see what happened. We'll get rid of these two guys because they are going to be difficult to keep going. But we'll want a security area with an armory. And security, I believe, has to be, if we go into the planning mode here, they have to be 4x4. But we'll put the armory in over here. And we'll put this guy behind the staff door. Now maybe these guys really like the guards, and because of that the stress is raising. We're about to get more prisoners though here in a bit. And there they are. More minimum security prisoners. So we will remove these guys for the most part. And everybody except for a couple of people have a cell. So we are now very slightly over capacity. Which means that we're going to need to build a couple of cells. That'll raise tension a little bit. Not too much, though. It'll probably raise it just enough for us to have to be worried about maybe running out of cell space. Fortunately, these guys remain in deliveries for as long as, like, they won't end up messing around, it seems. And we're still working on the armory here. We're waiting for that to finish so that we can reform program session. Oh yeah, that does cost us money, doesn't it? Well, we can at least put up an armory here, I think. Oh no, we just need to, let's see what it is. We need to hire 2 armed guards. $350 per day. Well, maybe this can be an armory up here. And we need a weapons rack. Which is somewhere around here. Where is that weapons rack? That is a guard locker. I'm assuming, oh, that's it right there. Insufficient funds. Okay, well we need to raise some money here, unfortunately. We'll deal with the changes in tension as they come. Well, you know what, a loan actually would be a good idea at this point. We'll we'll get 2 grand so we can afford to pay this. Because once we get the money, we can pay it back. We just have to get our grant money in. Let's see, we want a weapon rack. And what else do we want? We want a table as well. We need a guard locker there. And a regular table, I believe, is necessary. Oh, we need a little bit more. We haven't the funds. Unfortunately, this hasn't worked as well as I would have liked it to. At least the armory is satisfied. And it looks like we've had some people try to run away. This is bound to end in tears. Now, unfortunately for our loan, I don't think we can take out much more. This seems to work like a regular credit card or a regular loan. You make payments, and then as these guys, as you continue to pay off your loans, then you end up with the payments you need. How's our education program going? Nobody has passed yet. That's not good. Here we are trying to make money, and these guys are not passing. Do we have anything we can sell to hire any of these guys on? Yes, why don't we? We don't need all these school desks, and I'm not even sure how we ended up with all of them. And I can't even sell these guys for some reason. I guess they're not worth any money. Well, we will get this up to some $500. Let's continue while we're waiting for that to happen. Let's just see what is happening here. Have we had any incidents lately? I mean, we are making a lot of money from the fact that we haven't had any incidents, which I imagine is a good deal. It basically means that we'll be getting these guys up and going pretty soon. And we have some of these workers straggling about, it looks like. Now, we are about dead even now. And it looks like everybody has been assigned to sell, which is bloody awesome. Because nobody is sleeping in the holding cell anymore, and we don't want people to sleep in the holding cell. It does bring up the pressure, at least a little bit. But we're not quite in the hole yet. I think if we. I'm not quite sure how we want to do this. If we want to repay it back immediately. Because I have a feeling this is going to work like a real credit agency. And they're going to tell us we're deadbeats if we don't stagger our payments a little bit. For those of you uninitiated with the real world, that really does happen. They really do tell you you're a deadbeat if you don't let them get any interest off of it. So you have to, be fairly responsible. Now, here's going to be the trouble. We are going to end up in this situation to where most of our people here, despite the fact that we have K9 units, most of them are, oh no, reform services strikes again. Somebody better be passing in that class. Because I do want that 40 grand. And we want cell block C, which is really cell block B, to be profitable. And this is the game awaiting here. Looks like somebody got caught with a weapon of some kind. We may want the occasional shakedown. Yeah, take a look at those guys. Those guys are grubbing out. And we are now on day 18 of our prison with 53 prisoners. It's hard to believe that they grew up so fast. It might be good for us to go ahead and begin relocating some of these deals here. Although the I think in reality they will be okay. We'll get rid of the CEO's letter again. Give us some more room. How are we doing on money? We are getting close. Has our credit rating gone up from paying interest? We'll take out a quick loan. That will be enough for us to hire this one other dude. Except we need another locker for him, probably. I think that is enough to sustain him. And we can... We have to assign these guys to patrol, so I'm going to put these guys out here. One out here in the I'll put this guy out here. The drugs are often found in this area, and we'll make sure nobody tries to pull some funny business here. There we go. Let's get that loan paid back. We paid back like half of it. Nice. Now that will let us get more here, and it might be good. We'll go ahead, we'll do a shakedown, because well, we want to unlock tasers and body armor. That could get real expensive. Let's do prison manufacturing facility. Produce 30 license plates. Tool cleanup. Or crack down on drugs. We don't get an advance of any kind. Find 10 illegal narcotics. It sounds easy enough, and we'll do a shakedown. We've already found booze. Which is not a good thing for these guys to have to begin with. They should not be having booze. We found poison. Accounts for 2. Nobody's tried to dig out yet, though. Which I consider to be a good thing. Oh, yeah, somebody has tried to dig out, which means they are going to solitary confinement. You thought you could get away from me, but you couldn't. Uh-oh. I think somebody's found drugs. Yeah, we found heroin. Well, they got heroin in the infirmary. I guess maybe that's possibly, methadone or morphine. But we found ourselves a fair amount of drugs, and now that we've done that, our prisoner capacity has gone down a little bit, and we've got tons of families waiting to visit. Most of them, I reckon, are probably in solitary confinement. The prisoners, that is. Look at how many grants we have. We're not gonna end up with too many more, I think. However, I do want to go ahead and begin using some of this money for constructing our boiler room. We'll make that secure right there as well. let's take these utilities. Let's put in another power station for 5 grand. And that will be a start for us. Probably want to go ahead and begin running water here. And we'll begin running these guys up here. That's a really terrible place for a mains. We'll just leave that down there. We'll run these guys up along here so that they can get access as necessary. Well, I really took the path of least resistance, didn't I? Well, that's the start of this, at least. I think we should be pretty close to getting these guys going. And how are we doing? We're making a little bit less money this time. How's our education? Our progress is... We've got full classes. We may need another classroom. Maybe we should spend that on workshop safety induction. We got a workshop press and a car. I think just the workshop deal is required. If we have our workshop here, and we need a saw, a press, and a table. I think I can do that. We're going to be straddling the edge here, but it's something I believe I can do. And I may want to take in a loan. It's our valuation. We're at almost 2 grand or 200 grand. Oh, and well, that's no good. But I'm still going. I'm gonna save real quick, cause I just got an error with the semaphore. It looks like. And these guys are... What's going on? Yeah, let's... I'm not quite sure what just happened. I'm going to temporarily open the door for him. This guy is stuck in the wall. For some reason, he doesn't quite know where he's going. And his pathing's a little bit screwed up, which means we may need to fire him. Since there seems to be no hope of getting him out of here. Unless, is he still... Oh no, he finally got free. Which is surprising, to tell you the truth. I didn't figure freedom was his game. Let's just do some allocation on this real quick. We go to deployment. We'll zone this as medium security, and that will change eventually. And how many illegal narcotics have we found? Have we found enough? See, I'm halfway beginning to think my game is going to get very weird at this point, because we've got probably two threads that are fighting each other as a result of a race condition. And the sky is likely to shut down pretty soon. I'm sure of it. I don't want to buy another capacitor, though. I mean, it's not going to be absolutely necessary that we these guys are... They're all focused on freedom, so none of them really have much of a chance of passing, it looks like. Which is a shame. Yeah, we've hit the limit here, unfortunately. Cell block C may end up being in trouble. Even though we are making a fair amount of money, we've gone more than a week without any issues here. And we've already pegged this power supply, so I mean, that's going to be an issue we're going to have to fight. Even though we're at lower capacity here, we want to make sure that whatever we do with this prison, that nobody is going to be able to do their deal. Now we have this one deal going on here. I think, did I not get rid of this still? Somebody keeps on digging. So you can't poop in that hole. Yeah, I'm beginning to think another shakedown is warranted so we can get that grant. But we might want to be careful with that. I think they might start rioting if we're not careful. And that could be an issue for us. As you see right now, we just happen to want to get our grant going. What are our needs, though? Maybe we can. Recreation is our biggest need. That means our rec room is nowhere near big enough. Now, my initial thing I was going to do here was I was going to maybe maybe I'll expand this to the cleaning cupboard here. Once I move this infirmary, which I think it's about time I did. And this guy, it appears, is stuck. I'll just leave this open. I think they seem to get stuck for no good reason sometimes. But education reform is going to be difficult because we haven't had anybody. This is apparently the difficult part. That's why we get 40 grand from it. We haven't really gotten anybody to pass. For that matter, we haven't gotten anybody to pass the workshop safety induction program. So what I want to do is I want to wait until shakedown finishes, and then I want to go ahead, or not shakedown, but our Adil goes down here. We probably should wait on our money making deal. Unfortunately, we can't get rid of the grants once we have done this. I'm going to take out another loan, which... Oh, we can take out enough for the cell block. It's going to... That interest is going to be killer on us. I at least want to get this section here done so we can start populating the cells. I don't know why I didn't do this before. as this is a much, much better option here. And we'll begin taking on medium security prisoners as a result of this, and slowly work ourselves up towards our goal. Wait, what am I doing? Those are tables. Let's at least get some medium security guys in here so that we can get these guys going. Put toilets right. No, I think we've been putting them there actually. We're right off the main, so we can afford this. Let's get at least 8 medium prison cells going. That way we can expand and make more in the way of money. We'll want to, of course, go in here, and I'm going to put in a couple of drains that we don't overflow. And shower heads, the all-important shower head. We'll just finish this up really quick. And hopefully the narcotics crackdown will... Oh, what is that? Do we have an incident? No incident. Or just somebody, or being a rabble rouser. Well, now we at least have this deal in here. We'll throw in 3 capacitors for now. That will probably cover us on our utilities. What happened here? That's probably... I'm not sure what happened there. It's kind of weird. Well, at least our workers are doing what they need to be doing. We'll kick on the power in here, see if that works. And you know what, we might as well, because we can afford it. We're making lots of interest off of the loan. We might as well do that. And we will end up spending a little bit more than we make off of this, but we need to begin having these guys doing their deal here. And let's just make sure we're still zoned for this. That's still a staff area. Let's not do bureaucracy. That is still a staff area right there. And so we are going to need to go on through and mark that as such. Not that it really prevents anybody from going back there, but we've at least got that going. And I think what we'll do here is we'll focus now on maybe it'd be good for us to run a little bit more in the way of power over here so we can get some cooks back here. We want them back here as well. We can loan up to 90 grand. Which will be awesome. I'm not going to bother this time with the regular amenities. These are hardened prisoners and they don't need bookshelves because they're not really, well, for one, they're not really going to do much. So once this guy's in here, we'll mark this as a cell. In fact, all of these here will be cells eventually. I'm going to get 8 initially and use the money I got from that to increase my payout. And while we're at it, we'll get a patrol going. Where are we? We're missing something here. I don't know if it's just that it... Oh, I see it. Just... That's what's left over. So, our shower system is at least complete. We're making bank on our credit rating. We will be able to pretty soon bring in more and more in the way of funding. As we're still making money, we just have to be careful with this, of course. And we will... It looks like that cell is ready, so let's use the clone tool. Get as many of these as we can. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Might as well go up the entire deal here. This is a lot cheaper than I thought it would be. Which I will not complain about. These medium security guys are worth 100 each, and that is a good thing. That means that we can possibly begin thinking about rolling in some dough. And with that in mind, we could even pull in enough money, probably, to hire another guard, which I think I'll do. Because that would not be a bad thing to have. Because we haven't had any incidents, because we will need guards eventually, then we're going to get that going. One other thing, though, well, we can't put in metal detectors just quite yet. Ooh, that's a bad idea. It's a very bad idea. There's a little bit too much in the way of interest here. Let's see what we can do to make these guys sufficient, or self-sufficient rather. We're just gonna have 8 of these guys, so all we need is probably a table of some kind. Oh, we don't need solitary yet. But we'll get a table going. And how about we definitely need a sink. We'll put sinks up here. We're gonna try and streamline this just a little bit better, at least than we have been. We'll put a fridge there. We'll cordon that off as a kitchen. And for good measure, we'll put in, I'd say, a staff door and a metal detector. We don't want anybody leaving here with any implements of mass destruction. Oh, what's that cook doing? That cook's decided to run away. Okay, maybe it's time for another shakedown. Oh, look, we got booze and heroin and smokes. That's 6 narcotics, I think. I'm gonna pay back possibly some of this loan, although, yeah, we'll pay back part of it. I don't know why we can't pay that back. And we found tunnels, it looks like, that we're going to have to repair. Oh, these guys are always tunneling, and I'm always building the tunnels, or building the prison next to the edge of the wall so they can get away with it. And wow, this guy almost got away. It's a good thing we did a shakedown. What else do we want here? I think prison manufacturing would be the easiest to get going. If we get 20 in advance payment, well, yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll spend it on, because we've already bought the things we want to buy. We will simply use this to put in the things we need for our maximum security block. And that loan, we did pay back a lot of it, but we're going to keep a little bit in the bank. It's going to keep on increasing our credit rating. And now we could hire the staff we need. Or at least we can do other things as well. We do want some more guards, I believe. Those guards are going to be indispensable in keeping this place clean. Now uh-oh, we got 2 armed guards in service. Now, I don't know if that means that they are or they have found somebody that they're putting in solitary or what. But we'll go ahead and do some things we really need to do here, like, for instance, we need to build a yard, and that cannot be denied. We also need metal detectors here. And we're going to want to come up here and hook in our plumbing. There we go, we're at a respectable 9 grand. And we need some other things as well. Well, first of all, we need to begin our prisoner intake. So normal risk prisoners are coming in now. I'm just going to begin building these tables in the hopes that there will be enough in the way of room here. How are we on capacity? It looks like we could use another capacitor or 2. So we got normal prisoners coming. And we're going to want a yard, no doubt. So we're going to take this large steel door up here. These guys are going to probably require a shakedown or two to get going. But maybe, since they're medium security, maybe they'll be a little bit more serious about learning and get us through our education program. See, where's the yard? We'll allocate this as a yard. Objects, throw in a couple of payphones. And some weight benches probably would not be a bad idea either. That way they can end up doing their deal. But these guys will come in the morning and they will bring us lots of cash, hopefully. Oh, there we go. We did increase our capacity very slightly. I wonder what. I keep on flirting with a danger here. That is not quite what I want. And this guy is completely lost. Oh, you know what I just realized? We didn't put in the walls up here. Which is not a bad thing for us to do. What about lights? Lights would probably be good out here. And of course, I need a serving table as well. Why that is missing, I don't know. But we'll need to tear down these walls, I believe. And we'll temporarily dismantle that. These guys are coming in 2 hours, so I'm going to put it on substantially slower speed. And we'll get this first serving table up and going. Along with that, we now have room for the second serving table. Now here's a question. Are we sufficiently set up here? Let's still set this all to medium here. This is going to be our game room here. or I guess what's our recreation room called? The, okay, 8 more prisoners. And look at how much that's brought our cash up. That means that we can begin working on some of this. We have prison manufacturing here. I think it's good for us to begin getting some of these guys to do workshop safety. Education is still a bit of a problem. Unfortunately, we have nobody that is passed yet. I don't know if it's for lack of trying or what. Of course, it might help these guys here if we set them going. Are these guys all in the holding cell, or are they're being escorted in? I'm gonna have one guy stand here in the yard and one in the kitchen. That wouldn't be a bad idea at all. And then what do we have going on here? Well, as it turns out, not a whole lot. Let's just take a look at our. We know we have 53 in terms of our prisoner intake. I think we're getting pretty close to having another minimum security job going. And we need these guys here probably to go on through, and we'll begin building our, what were we looking at before we noticed that? It was common room is what I'm looking for. And we'll just have a very simple common room. We'll have a couple of chairs here that they can sit in, and let's not rot their brains. We're going to give them a pool table instead of a TV. And then we'll hope that this gets to be fairly easy. Here, now what's this? We have food waste. Interesting. You can see we're already making bank, though. And it's probably enough to where once we pay out our loans, it's not going to be that much of a problem. We just need to maybe get these guys up and going. We're gonna have a little bit of. You know what I just realized? We probably don't want to take in any more maximum or medium security yet because we may not have the capacity for them. At least not presently. Or we need not to go bankrupt. I'm gonna set one of these guys in here. We need a police officer in the workshop. And at some point, it may be sufficient for us to go ahead and get our deal going on here. And by our deal, I mean it may be good for us to get our whatchamacallit. I'll forget exactly what it was I was talking about anyhow. But we're doing very well so far. I mean, we should reach, if we add a room a day, we should reach capacity pretty soon. We'll just want, we'll probably want patrols pretty soon. Now they're going to come out to the yard, probably. They may work. I guess it just depends. And we can find probably um we'll find probably that we'll begin pulling in a lot of cash, and I'll begin working on that as part of our mission here. This guy is going to have to be in the corner, it seems. Oh, we're out of money. So much for that. Oh, snap. I'll put bricks in the wrong place. I think getting our total capacity up to 18 or up to 16 would not be a bad idea. So we have 8 right now, and we are soon to have another 8, which should bring up our money just fine. In fact, we look at our financing, we've got 800 in the bank and no incidents, which means we're actually doing pretty good. We're well in the black. The guards are a little bit expensive though, and eventually we will want to go here to our bureaucracy and hit this offshore tax haven. Now here's a question. Has anybody passed our safety induction? That is a good question. That's something to think about. Another good question that we'll need to have eventually is if we want to have more in the way of, and nobody's passing. I wonder if there. See, the bookshelves would be the ideal opportunity for that. But I guess nobody really wants to study. I should have gone with the security grant. The security grant is probably a little bit easier to deal with. But we're going to. Oh, I hope I didn't just accidentally lock down. Although, you know what? A shakedown would be a good thing to have at the moment. Our medium security prisoners are probably a little bit. Where is our chef? Well, we found spoons for sure, and this is turning out to actually be a rather reasonable shakedown for us. Oh, what's that? Piano wire. Whoa. How did you get past that? I'm glad we searched these guys, because that piano wire is no good. That guy could seriously hurt somebody with that piano wire. And we got this dude again trying to dig his way out of white collar prison. It's not all that bad, guys. It's you're only here because you want to be. Speaking of which, though, we've got 46 prisoners out of 53. I mean, Christopher Pigeon has just left the building. You know what? I think we could afford to have one of these guys in the holding cell. If nothing else, we can afford to prepare these cells for immediate things. We found spoons and drugs, and we found a whole bunch of stuff so far. When we get money, though, and you know what, we will have money, then we will have to. But you know what, if we got enough money now, I think, to where we're still in the clear. We'll build out some more of these prison cells, I think. Medium or low collar, not low collar, but medium security or regular security may not be a bad deal to have. I'm just going to add this one in so that we end up having way more in the way of prisoners. So this is going to drive our credit rating way up. I don't Unfortunately, I don't think the prisoners necessarily, or the when we sell this prison, will be able to keep our credit rating, and that will be unfortunate. But I think we will have sufficient cause to ask for more of these guys to come in, and I'm going to go ahead and do something rather special here for this guy on the wall. He's going to have the special room with the toilet immediately visible from the door. Solitary doors are probably not a bad thing to have either. We want solitary confinement here. And we will, in fact, make that solitary. But while we're at it, we'll clone us some more in the way of cells. Let's see, how many did we have already? That'll make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We've got enough so far for another load of maximum security prisoners. Or not maximum security, because they're obviously not. We need, of course, a cell door here as well. But I think it'll be okay for us to accept another cartload of normal risk prisoners, which we will then. Oh, everybody's on edge now. But we'll then use that as an excuse to get the rest of the cell block built, knowing that there are people who are not, except for that dude. That dude, of course, is going to be. That dude is going to be stuck for a while. Well, let's just. We need to clone these cells here. And once we finish this end here, we will accept our new prisoners. And we might even get our grant, which would probably be fantastic. But it'll all depend on whether or not I'm able to get this pipe going like we should, and whether or not I do this pipe foolishly like I have been doing. I actually have been rather foolish lately. But I think it'll all be worth it in the end. And the reason is that, and now we've got 2 cooks here. Actually, 2 cooks should be plenty to my way of thinking, but There we go. You see, the deal is that we will be able to effectively take care of these guys here. And once this is in place, then we will find that our profit will jump way up because the only thing that's really worth more are the maximum security prisoners. And we do want maximum security prisoners, of course. But we only want them when we're ready. Those are the guys that we're going to want to put on guard detail. Now let's see, just how much do we owe from our loan? We owe 2,700. It'd be kind of nice if you could set maybe the loan capacity. I guess we'll add in a TV up here. I really do not want to put TVs in their cells. I don't want them to think that this is a utopia. Even though it might make them happier. But we've now got the inmates coming in, and I'm just going to fast forward just a little bit so we can catch them in the process of doing this. And unfortunately, these guys are being somewhat idiotic. We got less than 28 seconds here. I think we might want to double up a guard on this route. There we go. We have just doubled our income. What can we afford? I wonder if it will let us pay some of this back. No, it sure won't. I guess it wants it to be paid back in full. Which is rather irritating, but there's not much you can do about it. And in the interim, these guys are going to have themselves some nice cells, and we're going to be making ourselves quite a bit of money in the process. Oh god, did I just plonked down a TV somewhere, and I don't know where. Well, I'm sure it'll show up. Or somebody will be very lucky because they will have a TV in their room, wherever it is. But I think with that having been said, wherever it is I put it, because I don't see it, I just see that I got charged for it. Install in common room. See, that's going to bother me now. But I'll look for it once the game has been paused. Until then, this has been Thy Lord Root, and I will see you later.